that will provide funding directly to groups like those represented behind us, who are doing amazing work to help domestic violence survivors in immigrant communities. The Culturally Pacific Gender-Based Violence Initiative will provide $3 million directly to not-for-profits who's doing this critical work. And I know how difficult it can be for immigrant women in abusive situations to get the help they so desperately needed. And before I worked in government, I was an attorney who worked with women in the Chinese community who found themselves in abusive situations. So I know firsthand how language and other cultural stigmas can not only be a barrier to getting help, but in some cases actually hurt many immigrant survivors of domestic and gender-based violence. I remember, one of my first clients when I was doing this work, she was a woman who did not know any English, and she called 911 to get help. However, but she did not know the language, and her husband and her mother-in-law knew the language, convinced the police that she was actually the aggressor, so she was the one who got arrested. And it's these situations that made me realize how language barriers, cultural barriers, is really damaging to women in this situation. And that's why this initiative matters. But when survivors connect with someone who understands their language, their culture, their fears, they could begin to open up, trust, and see a pathway forward. We have a lot of speakers here today. It's a very hot day. But first and foremost, I want to thank Speaker Adrienne Adams for listening to our voices, all our voices right here, to all the colleagues that support this initiative, and most importantly to the advocates, to all of you standing right here today. I also want to give a big shout out to the 5-member group that made out the collective, who saw a need for this initiative and came together, and without them we wouldn't be here today. So through this initiative, the Council is sending a clear message. All survivors of domestic and gender-based violence must be supported in our diverse communities. And now I have Council Member Shekhar Krishnan. Please come on up.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Ong. Good afternoon, everybody. It's so nice to see you all. I'm New York City Councilmember Shekhar Krishnan, representing Jackson Heights and Elmhurst, Queens. And I am so proud that we are here today as colleagues and with such incredible organizations on the front lines of combating domestic violence across our city. And I'm proud that we are standing together to announce a historic brand new initiative of $3 million. Because what we know is in our city, it is critical that every survivor of gender-based violence is seen, is heard, and gets the services they need and deserve. But the biggest barrier to those services is that oftentimes it's not in their languages. All New Yorkers must get the support and services they need. And all survivors deserve to have services in the languages they speak. And the best way and the most effective way to end gender-based violence is to make sure that every single survivor has the services they need and their voices and their concerns are heard. That's what this initiative is doing. And what's so important is we are funding organizations that are doing this work on the front lines every single day, working in our immigrant communities, not only serving people in their languages, but breaking the stigmas and the stereotypes that often make it so hard for members of our community, for women to get the services that they desperately need. So I want to thank you all so much for your work every single day. Know that you have partners and fighters by your side in the City Council, and I'm so proud that we are investing in culturally competent, language-accessible services for victims of gender-based violence with this new initiative. Thank you all so much, and thank you to Speaker Adams.
Thank you. Councilmember Linda Lee. Whoa.
I was like, what time is it? Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to say, again, thank you to Speaker Adams, Councilmember Ong, our fellow colleagues, Susan Zhuang and Shekhar Krishnan, and most importantly, thank you to all the advocates. As someone who worked in nonprofit for 20 years myself as a fellow executive director of a nonprofit organization in the AAPI community with KCS, I often say this all the time. I think the best ideas for legislation come from the community directly, because you all know firsthand what the issues are, what the clients' needs are, what their struggles are, and you're there for them and showing up for them every single day in a very real way. And one thing that we all know doing this work and having done work through KCS is that not only is there stigma already, right? There's lots of stigma, there's a lot of shame, and on top of that, you have language barriers, you have cultural barriers. People don't know where to go for services. And the struggle that I always had was for mental health and other issues in our community is that even if someone wanted to seek help, where do we send them somewhere where they can actually speak to someone who understands the culture and who speaks their language? And it is through these advocates that work hard day in and day out that our communities are served every single day. And so I'm proud to stand with my colleagues to make sure that no one is marginalized, that everyone is seen, that everyone feels heard, that they get the services that they need. And I just want to say thank you so much to all of you for the work that you do daily. I know that a lot of you provide services in all of our districts. So we're very, very grateful, and I'm proud to stand with the City Council on this new initiative. So thank you.
Thank you everyone. Especially I want to thank our speaker and also my AAPI colleagues and also all the AAPI nonprofits put the hard work in. Now we get the initiative, $3 million. And in my office, we see constituents every day with different language barrier. Very often we see a senior come to the office, even doesn't know how to use the app for food stamp. So can you imagine when people get traumatized, had domestic violence, that moment they usually don't know how to express themselves. If without language support, if without the community support, I don't know how those people get support. This money definitely will be very useful for the victims in our community and make sure all type of language people speak will have access. And also when you need some help from police department, from the community, the nonprofit always be there. And also the violence, domestic violence should not harm the family. Those people should feel safe to live in our community. And thank you everyone to put up all the good work. Thank you.
Yay. I'd like to invite some advocates to say a few words. Sarah from KFSC.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Sarah Fajardo, and I work for the Korean American Family Service Center. We greet and work with survivors of gender-based violence in Korean, English, Mandarin, and Spanish. We design and structure programs with Korean cultural traditions and practices to help survivors work through crises and trauma and heal within their cultural context. The relief and trust built through meeting survivors in their language with respect and understanding for their culture has helped thousands of New Yorkers exit and heal from violence. Today's announcement of this critical budget enhancement comes with such gratitude and hope for survivors, and KFSC just wants to extend a heartfelt thank you to our City Council champions for cultural competence and who fight tirelessly right along with us for the well-being of survivors of gender-based violence. KFSC is a proud member of the collective, and I'm so happy to stand along leaders in this work to provide culturally competent services for survivors, and we welcome this announcement. We know that a budget demonstrates the values of a community, of a city, and today New York City strongly announces our valuing of cultural competence and the needs of survivors. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. I'd like to have Zainab from Satu Yatu Center for African Women.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks, everybody, and I'm really honored to be a part of the collective, to be here to stand in front of you, to first of all say, from our survivors to the City Council members, thank you so much for hearing us. Thank you so much for valuing our safety and our security in the current moment where, as immigrants, we're being targeted. Many of us are afraid to go out. Many of us are afraid to go seek services because we don't know what's going to happen on the street. As community-based organizations, we are the last resort for survivors. Often, if they even attempt to go, they have long waiting lists for services. Sometimes they don't even get the services. My name is Zaina Biega. I work with Sautia to Center for African Women. Although we work with Black diaspora, we serve everybody who comes through our door. Sautia to provide services in at least 28 different languages, with excluding French, Arabic, and English. And we are here today to say thank you, because this money is not only just a budget line item, it's a lifeline. Thank you so much for the speaker. Thank you so much for City Council members for hearing us. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have Yasmin from Womankind.
Good afternoon. I'd like to start off by thanking Councilmember Ong, Councilmember Zhuang, Lee, and Krishnan for their steadfast commitments and advocacy. On behalf of Womankind, we're truly grateful for your role in establishing the first of its kind and newly funded culturally specific gender-based violence initiative. This $3 million is not just a number, it's a powerful commitment to survivors and to organizations, culturally specific organizations that serve them. At Womankind, we use the multidimensionality of our Asian heritage to walk alongside survivors on their path to healing. In a time when fear and uncertainty continue to rise, especially when engaging with law enforcement and institutions, this funding strengthens our ability and our peers' abilities to be able to show up with compassion, consistency, and culturally responsive services. Culturally specific organizations like ours and other members that are here today, as well as the collective, are often under-resourced, yet we hold deep, trusted relationships with our communities that we serve. These relationships are not just important, they're essential. Survivors turn to us because they know we will meet them where they are and will provide them with the support that reflects their lived realities. As we continue to navigate, organizations such as ours continue to navigate funding challenges, this initiative offers critical stability, not only for Womankind, but other culturally specific organizations in New York City. So again, thank you so much for championing this initiative within the City Council and among your colleagues. We look forward to continuing to work with you and our future together as we rise above violence and thrive in collective well-being, restoration, and social justice. So thank you.
Thank you. I just want to give a big shout out to all the groups that are here today. We have KAFSC. Yeah. We have Garnet of Hope.